Now, clearly there are some issues that we need to address, and I'm going to use a broad brush because we've heard of several instances where persons who are in active positions in the public service are being reverted to their substantive posts. Now, it begs the question, how can a person serve in a senior position? Some persons serve for more than 3 years before this nation came into the vote. Some people are have served 3 years here in one department or two, and then sent to another department at that same high level. So a person may spend as much as 6 or 9 years serving in a senior capacity, which means they are in a scale. And then when a vacancy becomes available and that person goes for an interview, they're told that they're not suitable. Now, how do you arrive at that? When that person was a functionary, they don't have anything to say that they were not performing to their optimum. How could you then, on the basis of an interview, revert that person to a post back in the Z scale, bring a serious impact on their salary, destroying their psyche? I hear that we are talking about we in a country that want to use people who have the experience, the expertise. We want to use what we have to ensure that we have a system that is able to provide the service and quality information and support that we require. But you move that person out of that particular area of expertise and put them as a desk officer to push paper. Now, tell me, is that making any logical, reasonable, rational sense? Something is wrong at the interview stage. How anybody in their right mind could sit down and make a decision to revert somebody from a position where they are functioning at the optimum and send them put them like a piece of a slide from the top and slide them back down to the bottom and feel no way about it. I think this is something that's reprehensible, something that needs to be addressed, something that this Congress does not condone. We always speak about fairness, and we just spoke about people meriting, person's suitability, people's experience, people's qualification. And I believe that when things like this happen, the Ministry of the Public Service needs to account for why this is happening. And I believe the head of the public service also has to red flag these things, because we cannot be preaching one thing and practicing something else. These are serious double standards. We are destroying the public service by virtue of these. We are removing the confidence of persons. We are causing people to leave the service because they feel that they are being unfairly treated. And we can't sit idly by here knowing, because we get information at this organization and it comes from one number of organizations. They tell us what's going on. People call here. People speak to the president. People speak to me. They speak to other officers about what's happened to them individually, because some of them are not unionized. But whether unionized or not, they're workers of this country, and they ought to be treated by one rule of thumb. It can't be one for one and one for somebody else. It cannot be a person who serves in any position of substance. And I mean, up to a senior position, and be replaced by somebody who just come up off the floor just like that. How could that tell me that it's merited and that is valuable? And then you put the person out, throw the baby out the bath water, and send them to their desk officer somewhere in the system. Is it punitive? Then that's the only question that I have to raise, because when that has to be, if it isn't based on performance, then it has to only be punitive, because the performance has not, if persons have not been given any identified and say, okay, you're weak here, and given a performance plan to work and improve, then it tells me that the action is punitive. And it's something that should not be condoned, has to be raised, put in the public domain, and stop those people who are perpetrating these injustices on workers. And those who sit quietly by the corners and say nothing need to get up and represent the people because people pay to be represented. And I think that's the time that we speak out very clearly on these matters. This Congress is not going to sit just because it's here. We are not a court union representing individuals. We represent the broad base. And where there is injustices and where there are issues of national development, we're going to give our input and we are going to represent on behalf of the working class and the workers of Barbados. So don't expect to silence us because we are not for sale and will never be for sale. We are here to do a job.